culture at City Hall, and you can call it woke because that's what it is. Everything's focused on diversity, equity, inclusion, and again, a lot of this stuff has to be just removed, replaced, and again, be down to business.
Being mean to each other, what we've seen happen in council time after time this last 3.5 years, is not doing you any good.
Cindy Vizard for Rebel News here in Calgary, Alberta for Councillor Dan McLean's Stampede Breakfast. Now, we spoke with Councillor Dan McLean of Calgary to find out a little bit more about the situation Calgary finds itself in with municipal matters. Specifically, we saw that last year, our water infrastructure, the supply treated water to our taps and our sinks and what have you, practically got shut down. There was water lockdowns. Literally, the city was crumbling, and if there was not emergency action taken, the worst could have literally happened. Our whole infrastructure for supplying water could have collapsed in certain areas. While we were here, we spoke with Sonia Sharp, a mayoral candidate for the municipal election, which is going to be taking place 100 days roughly from today. So we spoke to them not only about municipal matters, but also the municipal political party that is come into the forefront here as a next election is coming upon us.
So if you want, a city that you can trust, affordable and safe, then you elect me as your mayor and Communities First candidates as your councillors. So we're looking forward to leading the city and making great change starting October 21st. Thank you.
This is my annual Stampede Breakfast. This will be the 5th one I've done now. This year I'm doing it with some colleagues. I've added in Sonia Sharp, the same district who's running in Ward 12 and Rob Ward in Ward 11. So we're banding together, running as a team to make real change at City Hall. We need 8 votes.
October 20th is going to be here before you know it. Please make sure you're educating yourselves on who the right choice is. Obviously, I would say myself, Communities First candidates, and make sure you get out to vote. It is critical, probably one of the biggest elections, and I would say not biggest in numbers, but most impactful elections we're going to see in 2025.
What's the pitch for Calgarians to say we are going to be different than the current situation?
Well, I ran the first time on Time for Change Vote Dan McLean, and I've worked really hard for that change. But again, it takes 8 votes. So the difference this time around is if I can have Sonia Sharp as mayor, myself and 7 others, or more hopefully, we can overturn blanket rezoning, put a lot more focus on like the meat and potatoes of what we're supposed to do, fill potholes, crack down on crime. I mean, we gotta let our law enforcement do their jobs. And of course the tax situation. It's affordability out there, so we've got to make sure we just don't keep raising taxes at 10% like we've seen over the last several years.
In September, it's gloves off. We're hitting the ground running, and from that point in September all the way to October 20th, it is all hands on deck to win this election.
And the mayor is running for re-election. Why are you the better choice?
I would say if I thought she was doing a good job and Calgarians were happy, I would be running for mayor. But I'm running to make Calgary, the safest city in Canada, affordable, and the biggest thing is to regain trust in Calgarians. That is one thing that's been lost in the last 4 years almost, is Calgarians have lost trust in City Hall, and it's time to get that back on track.
So if one of you guys becomes mayor, is that going to mean that Calgary's climate emergency is over?
You betcha. First order of business, revoke the climate change. Emergency. There's no emergency. We all care about the environment, air pollution, water pollution, but we're spending hundreds of millions of taxpayers' dollars on climate change. It's embedded in everything we do, and we got to take that emergency out of it. Let's get down to the basics.
You're not only running as a mayoral candidate, you're also running as the candidate for a party. Why is that the right choice for you instead of just running as an independent?
I would say, there's been a lot of conversations around this for about a year. When the province came forward with this bill, you're either going to work with it or against it. There are some positive things about working with a party or a team of people, obviously leveraging candidates running in different wards and volunteers and those door-to-door conversations. There are some cons. I'll say there's a lot of work to put this together, and you know what, I like work. You need your 1,000 signatures. We're a growing party. We have about 9 candidates right now. We're looking forward to adding more, and so I'll say it's been a lot of fun. I don't regret doing this, but I know that this is a pilot, and we will definitely have that conversation after this is over on what works well, what didn't.
This could be the exact opposite of what we've seen with the current Mayor Gondek and several other councillors that aren't running. There's a lot of councillors that aren't running because of what you just said. Global initiatives, climate change, or social issues. Our job is to do police, fire, potholes, taxes, water, utilities. You got to stay in our own lane and focus on that. And I know myself, Sonia Sharp, and the rest of the candidates I'm running with, we all are on the same page.
What are you going to do about bureaucrats like Duckworth who are receiving increasing salaries despite the fact that the infrastructure they're set to maintain is literally crumbling?
Yeah, that was something I voted against. Yeah, it starts at the top. You got to lead by example. We've got to, when you're giving our top executives massive pay raise, that's not setting the right signal. So, again, I've seen 2,000 employees, 2,000 people hired at City Hall since I've been there. It's huge. It's like 20% increase in staffing. We can shrink that and be more efficient. So, yeah, it starts at the top.
The infrastructure, we know that we're about 10 years behind, and it's a fix-it-first mentality. What we see right now is patchwork being done. Recently, you could have seen that the businesses on 8th Avenue were calling for a pause or stop of what was about to happen on Stephen Avenue. I joined Councillor Wong on that pause, and we just found out they're going to. But we have heard that there is wooden infrastructure underneath Stephen Avenue, and that would have just caused an uproar. So when you talk about, it's only going to cost, like a small amount of money, as soon as you start opening up that concrete, don't know what's down there, like they did with the water main break. As soon as they opened up that one big pipe, we saw other little minor feeder mains getting broken. It's really important we have a fix-it-first mentality. There's so much technology out there to be able to get underground to see what our systems look like so that we can avoid a catastrophic failure like we've seen. And we should not be opening up our ground if we don't know what's under there.
Let's say, you will become elected mayor. How well is that party going to stay together after that point in time?
So we do share common principles. And also, we're like-minded individuals. We share the same values. And so if you look at the incumbents, myself, Councillor McLean, Councillor Wong, Councillor Chabot, we're very different from each other. But we respect each other. That's the other thing, is respecting each other, even if you don't vote the same. And it's okay. But being mean to each other, what we've seen happen in council time after time this last 3.5 years, is not doing you any good. And that's why Calgarians don't trust.
We have a whole lineup of what we call notices of motion, bylaws that we're going to pass, and a whole bunch of other ones that we're going to revoke. You might see a change in some of the management at the top. And we've got to change the culture at City Hall, and you can call it woke because that's what it is. Everything's focused on diversity, equity, inclusion, and again, a lot of this stuff has to be just removed, replaced, and again, be down to business. But I got to get to business. I got to get back to my stuff, eat breakfast.
Hope you liked what they had to say. Let me know in the comments, what do you think should be the focus for Calgary's next mayor? For Rebel News, I'm Sidney Vizard. RebelFieldReports.com is where you have to go if you want to see our latest on events like this. Real boots on the ground coverage is sponsored by you, quite literally. It's your donations that allow us to be here to cover these events, to talk to these important politicians. So stay tuned and follow along and support our work at RebelFieldReports.com.